I'm Brent Leary.
I'm Paul Greenberg.
I feel like I'm in Green Bay all of a sudden, but anyway, we are the CRM Playaz, and it's Thursday.
I thought you were going to say we are the CRM Packers.
I feel like Aaron Rodgers almost, but
Well, it's not a good feeling these days.
Well, right now the Rams aren't really feeling it. Anyway, we'll move on from such negative talk and tell you it is a great Thursday. It's actually, we got our first rain in 3 weeks yesterday, but I look out and it's nice and sunny again today. So no complaints.
Yeah, we have had rain all day. Still is rainy looking, but not raining at the moment.
Well, rainy looking is okay. When it hits the real deal, it gets a little iffy. But you know what? You know what time it is right now? It's time for the moment of Sven.
MOS.
We need a little sound effect. We need some like something. I don't know what it'd be.
We can come up with something.
All right. Well, so you want to take a crack at that one?
Wow. This one's tough. I'm guessing it's maybe transliterated. So it might be, well, no, it's like, I'm guessing that, I don't know, but I'm thinking maybe it's some Arabic dialect, but it's not in Arabic script. So it would be transliterated. Habari marafiki wa mada ya kusismwa ya CX. I'm guessing it's Arabic of some kind.
Is that your final answer?
Yes, it is.
All right. And so Sven, you're going to have to let us know if he's right. And if he is, which Arabic language is it? Because you didn't.
Well, at least which dialect is it?
Yeah, the dialect.
No, it's not at all. It's Swahili, Rebecca said.
Rebecca coming in. But wait a minute. Oh,
no, it is. It's Swahili.
Rebecca.
Or it's Swahili.
Coming in.
Player in residence gets it right. I had no idea.
In residence. I always thought they were some sharp folks.
Oh, so this is the thing I like about the new moments of Sven is that he's actually changing the phraseology up from "Hey guys" or "Hello." Now this is "Hi friends of the exciting CRM topic."
Oh,
in
CX
Swahili.
Topic. CX topic.
Of CX topic. I mean CRM.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. So thank you. In that moment,
thank you, Rebecca.
Yeah, thanks, Rebecca. And that moment of Spin was brought to you by nobody. We don't have any sponsors for that one. So
well, we will shortly. So be ready.
Anybody up for the sponsoring of the moment of Spin? Let us know.
That would be amazing. Sponsoring this will be like wow, Christy.
Really? I see. There's a Godfather, but yeah.
No, this is small G though. So right.
Look at Rebecca giving away her seat.
Oh, come on, Rebecca. We want to attribute the genius of that to you directly. We don't want Google involved.
But
it's you. No, we don't think you. I refuse to believe you use Google for that.
I'm not going to out you, but if you out yourself, I can't help you. Moin, Thomas. Good to see you. Oh, look at this one. Somebody's feeling pretty good about their team.
Yeah, I'd say so. I'm feeling even as good as my team too, but
hell, I'm not. I'm leaving it
there. As you know, the season is yet young.
Yeah, well,
and by the end of the year, things will probably regress to the respective means, which means you'll be doing way better, and me and Alan will be back where we, at least maybe slightly better, but close to our normal.
Well, all I can say about the Jets thing is he needs it because the way the Mets went out. Yikes. That was kind of rough. Yeah, and who beat those guys again? The Braves. Oh, well, anyway, we'll move on. Wait a minute. Christy, see, I'm going to have to dock you. Thanks for the compliment, but I'm going to have to dock you. My name is not Brett. I am no Favre. No Favre stuff going on here.
Green Bay Lighting.
Green Bay Lighting says sorry, no Favre's.
I am so sorry. Green Bay Lighting says different.
All right, we got to. Okay, well, now she's going to blame it on the phone. All right.
And
We'll give you a
Rebecca's
pass.
Googling Swahili. You're blaming things on your phone.
We'll give you a pass.
What has this world come to?
All right. This world has come to the CRM Playaz, and it's come to, we have a very special guest. Before we get to that, because we're going to spend most of the time with our guests to talk about kind of some recent developments going on at Oracle CX and talk about CloudWorld is coming up next week. But before we do that, we got a couple of, we are a network now, right? We got to start getting serious with the plugs. So I'm going to do some plugs.
Okay, let's do it.
All right. So November 2nd is going to be a really cool day here on I'm actually going to say here on the PPN. That's kind of cool. It's kind of cool.
On the PPN.
Here on the PPN, Wednesday, November 2nd. Mark your calendars. At 2 p.m. East Coast time. This is going to be cool. Substack. I'm sure a lot of you have already heard of Substack, the newsletter platform that really, I'm turning on the news, like cable news. And you know how when you watch cable news, they have like guests on, like experts, and they're usually from the Washington Post or the Wall Street Journal or something like that. More and more, these folks are coming on and they're saying they have they have a Substack newsletter. They're not even saying, they're like leaving the mainstream media and they're striking out on their own and using Substack as their newsletter platform to build their audiences. So we're going to have the co-founder of Substack on, Hamish McKenzie. I just love that name.
I do too.
And
it's depressing. He's so young.
That is one of the best headshot pictures that I've been able to use for the promos. I mean, that thing is looking good.
I know. He looks young. He looks happy.
He does look young and happy. Well, let's hope he leaves.
Little do you know what life is going to do to you.
Let's just hope after the 30 minutes with me, he still, leaves young and happy. But that's 2:00, November 2nd. And right after, now this is cool. I'm going to let the venerable Paul Greenberg explain. Wait a minute. That's not what I want to do.
Wow, you're way off there. Wow.
Whoa, wait a minute. Where did I
go? You're blowing everything here.
I lost my, I had a setup for our, you know what? I didn't put the slide in. So 2:30, November 2nd, we are doing something brand new that we've never done before. We're calling it the Playaz Town Hall. It's going to be via LinkedIn audio. So, you're used to seeing us. Unfortunately, you're used to seeing us, like literally seeing us every Thursday here on LinkedIn Live video. We're going to do a LinkedIn audio Playaz Town Hall to talk about the path the CMO seems to be taking. You want to kind of explain it a little bit?
Yeah. I mean, one of the things that I think has probably been noticeable to everybody, anybody who knows how to spell, basically.
Let me give it a Hamish here.
Yeah.
Sorry, Hamish.
Sorry, bud. One of the things that's noticeable to anybody is that the role of CMO is changing. Now, you still have lots of traditional CMOs out there. There's no question about that. Traditional meaning their function is what their function was and has historically been. But now you're starting to see CMOs becoming chief revenue officers on occasion, chief growth officers. I mean, their titles are changing, but so is their responsibilities. However, at the core, marketing is still a primary, if not the primary, responsibility, right? So this is a town hall following the discussion that we had last week on the Playaz with Anand Thakur. This is a town hall with Brent, me, and Anand hosting 3, maybe 4 CXO, meaning growth officers in the works, or our revenue officers in the works, and CMO in the works. There's 1 or 2 have committed, but we want to wait till we have other ones committed, where you can come in, ask them questions, have a conversation with them. The idea is have a free-flowing conversation, a town hall discussion, not an executive roundtable. This is a discussion with the 3 of us as hosting the discussion, and the CMO, CRO, CGO, folks talking with you guys about whatever it is you want to talk about. All audio, new kind of show.
Yeah, it's kind of an experiment for us, but I think it's going to be. I think it's cool because it allows us to bring in more voices into the conversation because we just can't do that with the regular show we do here. There's limitations with this LinkedIn audio platform. There doesn't appear to be those kind of limitations, and we would love to have people, not just the folks that are kind of the quote unquote speakers, but everybody add to the conversation. So yeah, we're going to do that November 2nd, directly following my conversation with Hamish, 2:30 East Coast time, November 2nd. Okay, all right. I think we're good now with all the back stuff. So now let's talk about what's coming up. One of the things that's coming up, CloudWorld is coming up. It's next week. Vegas.
Looking forward to it.
It's the first time in 3 years, right? Since we've been there.
Wait, what year is this?
Well, it's 2022.
Okay.
I think 2019 was it. I don't think 2020 and 21.
No. I mean, we were there virtually only.
And it's Vegas. Remember the last time we were there, it was San Fran. Now it's Vegas.
Well, you know what? That part I'm not as excited about.
I'm actually kind of curious to see what Vegas is looking like these days.
Well, I've been hearing from people who have been, a lot of people. I'm literally talking to somebody yesterday who was in Vegas when I was talking to them. Doesn't sound like it's a whole lot better. Let's just say that. Look, I'll tell you truthfully, I was already in Orlando, and Vegas does beat Orlando. So
all right, we'll just move on from there.
Right.
So one of the cool things, I was just checking this out. Oracle TV is going to be a Oracle TV. And guess what?
What?
We're going to be on
what?
It. We are going to be on it.
What?
Do they really know what they're getting themselves into here? I have no idea. But I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be cool.
Me too. I mean, does that mean we get like a long desk and things like that? Like a news anchor.
No, we're actually going to be the guests, apparently.
Oh, we are? Oh, you mean we're not like, aren't we? Well, we're also doing one there.
Well,
too.
Funny you should mention that because.
Oh, wow. What a segue.
The next day, Wednesday, October 19th. Now that's 3 p.m. Pacific time because, we're used to East, but Pacific. A little later in the day, but I think it'll be worth it. We are doing a live CRM Playaz episode. We don't know who our guest is going to be yet. I heard that they're checking to see if Larry's schedule is. But no, we can't commit to anything.
Well, if it's Larry's, we'll be broadcasting live from his house in San Francisco.
No, this is cool. When we get the specifics of who will be joining us, we will let you know. But next Wednesday. So we're not going to be doing the show next Thursday because I think we'll both be in the air at that particular time.
Yeah, we will.
But so we're going to do it Wednesday, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, live from CloudWorld. And I think
midnight German. Midnight Munich.
All those time zones. You check your local time zone for that. Anyway, our friend Kim Guillaume said that we're going to be using the Oracle News Desk. That sounds kind of intriguing.
I'm assuming that's the same place where we're going to be interviewed from.
I don't know. I don't know. Oh, Christy wants to know what time Tuesday. Let's go back.
Wow, that is so sophisticated.
12:45 p.m. Pacific time. So that's 3:45 p.m. Eastern. Got it, Christy?
So I'm assuming if we just stay there roughly, 26 hours, we won't have to actually move to do our broadcast.
Well, you try that out. I think I'm going to move a little bit. So I'll get you a sandwich or something if you need.
Yeah, if you don't mind.
All right.
Pastrami?
Right. Well, or
not
maybe
don't worry. It's San Francisco. I would never buy
blueberry bagel.
Vegas. I would never buy pastrami in Vegas.
All right.
Actually, I would buy pastrami in Vegas.
Let's get into it because our guest is waiting, and we are really happy to have. He's been on with us before. I'm going to leave it up to the venerable Paul Greenberg to introduce our guest and also kind of give you the rules for engagement for the next 45 minutes.
Right. All right. So here's the deal. First, Brent and I love having, and I'll say his name now so you don't have to wait, Rob Tarkoff on the show. We've had him on several times. Each of us and both of us have known him for many years. And he's always been both excellent business leader, but also a friend. Rob, I knew Rob back in his first days at Adobe, not his first days, when I was first communicating with Adobe on whether CX was a viable concept for technology. I said no, but they went ahead and did it anyway. Right. So I still remember that. I still remember having that conversation. Actually, Rob wasn't on that particular call though, but Rob, I met him. I was super impressed with him. Later on, I got to know him a lot better when he became CEO of Lithium. And he was the guy who took Lithium. I was literally talking to Michael Wu about this today, right? He was the guy who took Lithium from being an enterprise technology ready company to an actual enterprise ready company, meaning he created the infrastructure, he created what it took to sell, market, talk to, communicate with the enterprise. He made it into a real scale, not just a company that could scale technologically, but a company that could scale from infrastructure and revenue standpoint with the enterprise. Then he now is showing up as now is several years. He showed up as the head of Oracle CX, and he's made a huge difference in both the visibility of Oracle, the viability of Oracle CX, the culture internally. Played a great deal of he's had a great deal of impact on the culture of Oracle generally, and certainly of the CX organization. And he's look, honestly, guy was made for this role. So here's the thing. So we're going to bring him on, but it's not going to be a typical normal show exactly. Have some normal things, but as you probably know, Oracle and CX and marketing were the probably heaviest hit, but Oracle was hit with a very large and surprising, meaning it showed up and people were not necessarily aware it was coming, series of layoffs a few months ago. And it created a big stir. People were just unaware of what's going on with it. All kinds of rumors began floating about why it happened, what was happening to the people, et cetera, et cetera. Now, Oracle, as you know, as we just said, Oracle CloudWorld is coming up next week. So Rob is here to answer your questions about this. But here's the rules of engagement for this. We have no problem with people who work for competitors, let's say, asking questions. But if they're competitive questions, you are not going to be shown. We're not going to bring them up. Rob's never going to have to answer them. And I will tell you this, honestly, if they're snarky and competitive questions and I see them on LinkedIn, I will take them off LinkedIn later. That's how severe this is. This is meant to be a discourse, a discussion where Rob can be open and not feel set upon, and you guys can get what you need to get answered. So as long as you're willing to ask him honest, not nasty, but honest questions, he's here to answer. And so remember the rules of engagement. I'm being very much Godfather in this one. In fact, I'm more conciliary at this point. Wow. Right? I'm going lawyer right on you all.
What's his name? Tom Hagen.
Tom Hagen, right? I like Tom. I'm going all lawyer on you. So the deal is ask questions, make them honest. Feel free to ask questions that get you the answers you're looking for. Don't make them snarky. Don't make them competitive. And as long as you don't do that, the questions will be asked. If you do that, not only won't the questions be asked, but I will, after the show, remove them from LinkedIn or from Facebook or from Twitter.
And I'll do the same if I see any nasty comments about the Rams or any positive talk about the Patriots.
So now I feel better because I get to be Godfather and conciliary. So anyway, the other thing is, if you have we're going to be talking about CloudWorld, right? So ask questions about CloudWorld. Feel free. So that's it. So let's bring on our buddy Rob Tarkoff.
There he is.
Hey guys, how we doing?
Yeah, good to see you, man.
How do you like Iron Fist, man?
You know what? You are like the world's best consigliere. That was
I am
awesome.
a hardcore Iron Fist.
I'm gonna hire you if any of my kids go to jail.
So I'm in. I'll take care of it. I will take care of it. I promise.
Good stuff.
I'll put it this way: if they don't get out, nobody will hurt them in there.
Wow. All right. First off, Sven, we're gonna take the moment of Sven away if you do this again. No more blueberry bagel talk, Sven. We're done.
Sven, that's borderline removed from LinkedIn.
I do like blueberry bagels. So.
What?
Oh no, God! Thank you for being here. We'll see you next week. Oh no!
Yes, finally, somebody else likes blueberry bagels.
Well, it's okay, Rob.
They're antioxidants in a bagel.
No, they're not bagels.
That's true.
Here we go.
Not bagels. They're blueberries are fine. I love
move on to less controversial stuff now.
We're starting with the really heavy duty stuff right away. They're really going at it. All right. So I'll tell you what, I mean, before, I don't see any particular question up yet. I think they want to hear what you have to say. So why don't you just kind of run through, what you feel you can and feel comfortable with on what happened with Oracle and the layoffs?
Yeah. So first of all, thanks for having me on, guys. Great to see you both. And I feel the same way about Las Vegas that you do, although I think it's going to be a great show. But so let me just kind of paint the picture a bit. I'm finishing up my 4th year at Oracle. And when we talked last, one of the things we focused on was, what's the plan for Oracle CX, which was really the combination of 14 different acquisitions across the front office. So unlike some of the products in the Oracle application suite, the Fusion suite, which were more natively built from the ground up, CX was formed primarily through acquisitions. 14 different platforms, 14 different tech stacks, 14 specific user communities. And the challenge was really, how do we bring the best of those acquisitions forward, but also align CX to the core Fusion suite? So we went on a process of replatforming, rewriting where we needed to, extending certain capabilities so that we could truly take advantage of the full end-to-end Fusion capability, common data structures, common deployment models, common user flows from front to back office. The good news is that our engineers did an amazing job on that, and we finished early. We actually were able to streamline a number of the capabilities before we thought we would have that. And so we faced a situation where we had a lot of legacy platforms that were very well respected and are today well used, and we will continue to support and extend those platforms. But we also want to drive towards the future because we think the future of CX is about unified suites, not about point products. And so we want to put more attention and more focus on the suites. And by doing that, we structurally didn't have to carry the same expense base to be able to do that, because Oracle has, as you guys know, a lot of Fusion expertise, a lot of Fusion developers, and we had a lot of people that we could really leverage to bring in this next generation of CX. So, without commenting on any specifics, anytime you go through restructuring, it's painful. It's people have a certain set of things they're doing. They're asked to do different things, or maybe what they were doing isn't as strategically important to the company anymore. So I don't want to minimize that. That's always a painful human thing to go through. But strategically, we think we're in a really good spot. And that is, we think we have a next-gen modern CX suite that's aligned with Fusion, that's aligned by industry, and that our customers can take advantage of when and at what time they're ready. If they want to stay on the acquired products, great. We'll continue to support them. I mean, Oracle's been in the business almost 45 years. We've never abandoned customers on a product. So there was some commentary out there about the end of this or the end of that, all fake news, not true. We'll continue to support our customers, continue to have a roadmap and capabilities in those, but our primary strategic focus is on the Fusion suites. So I'll stop there and see if there are any questions.
Got a comment from Thomas. He says, as the Mandalorian says, this is the way. So let me ask a quick one. Just generally speaking, what role or position does CX play after these layoffs compared to the role in the fit it played in the company before the layoffs?
It's actually interesting. It's more strategic now because it's more connected to what the rest of Oracle is selling and operating on behalf of our customers. And that is, we used to have designations, and they were forced designations. We used to talk about our Fusion application suite and Oracle Cloud Infrastructure and NetSuite, the GBU and the industry GBUs. Then we had this sort of artificial thing called non-Fusion acquired products. And it was, if you're a seller trying to tell a story about how all of the Oracle end-to-end flows, from revenue capture through to back office billing and processing, from employee onboarding to sales incentive compensation modeling and sales performance management, you need to have a technology stack that supports that story. So ironically, we'll have more traction, I believe now. We will be like the pointy end of the spear, if you will, for a lot of the new industry-based end-to-end flows. You think about asset-based service for manufacturing, where you tie predictive maintenance to spare parts and repair through to technicians being dispatched to solve a problem. That whole flow now is all unified on one Fusion stack. And by doing that, we make that available to our sellers to tell a story in a more consistent, coherent way, and to be able to demo the products more effectively. They all look the same. They all operate the same. They all operate off the same infrastructure, take advantage of the same underlying services, digital assistant, security, identity, cloud, OCI, cloud native services. And that makes us a lot stronger. So as opposed to leaving things behind, we're actually bringing things forward, which I think is powerful.
Actually, I actually do want to bring it back to the layoff question, because it's something you said, which I think is very important people understand, which is the human side. And, obviously, look, we all were, I think most people have taken a little bit aback by the whole thing, just because it was, so, I mean, again, I might just be a clueless analyst, which is definitely possible here, but I didn't know it was coming. Let's just say that. Normally, given how much all us analysts gossip about everything, we usually do know what's coming. But one thing I know you've told me when you and I connected to talk about it, was what you're doing to help the people who were laid off, right? And so can you go into that a little bit? Because I think it's important that people hear that.
Well, I mean, I think let's move away from CX. And this is maybe comes from my time of being a CEO and feeling responsible for people's welfare. I mean, it's a privilege to, Simon Sinek says it all the time, and I really believe that. It's a privilege to serve as a leader of an organization. You don't have any God-given right to do it. Your job is to set strategy, to put in place systems that you can monitor, and to help people achieve their career goals. And I believe that third point of helping people achieve their career goals, that extends beyond when they work for you. Like, you have an obligation to them to make sure they're landing in a good place, because they gave you their all. And in the case of Oracle, I can definitely tell you, people leave it on the field when they come work for Oracle, especially our engineering and product teams and our go-to-market teams. I think it's no secret, we're not the biggest player in CX. We believe we're the biggest application player, but not the biggest in CX. And so it's really important that those people who are putting all that energy and emphasis get as much help as I can provide them. So, I spent a lot of time as a full-time headhunter, just making sure I was getting people set into roles either within Oracle, outside of Oracle, because I feel like that's just something I owe them. The market sets a prevailing wage for every job, right? And so people jump from company to company. And I don't think money motivates people as much as really appreciation and commitment to their well-being and their welfare. And so we placed probably a third of the people inside other roles at Oracle. Instead of hiring people from the outside, we were able to, use the versatility of a lot of these people to take other roles. And we placed a lot of them outside. I know in my own network, I got a lot of people hired, and, some of them at competitors. And I'm super happy about that for them, because part of my responsibility is to keep their career trajectory moving forward. And, I feel that now more than ever, having, older adult children entering the workforce. And it's like, that's important. And everybody needs mentors who care about them, whether they are in their company or not. And so, I was very happy with that. And let me just say, it wasn't just me. It was my leaders, our HR department at Oracle. Just people really rallied around this mission, and the whole recruiting and HR team in Oracle. I was super proud of them, how they just worked tirelessly to make sure we took care of people as best as possible. It's an economic reality that businesses have certain investments they can make at certain times. And oftentimes when you do a large acquisition, like we did with Cerner, you have to kind of reevaluate all your investments and figure out what are the ones that you can continue to make. And like I said, because we finished early on this replatforming, we had the ability to kind of move the focus to that with minimal disruption, other than, it was disrupting to the people, but we did the best we could with them.
Thank you.
Cool. All right. Well, we got a couple of questions lining up here in the queue. First of all, let's say hello to Sahil. Nice to see you, sir.
Hey, dude.
Saw him last week on Pass the Mic. So good to see him.
You know what? He's also got a new puppy that is absolutely adorable.
What kind of dog?
I don't know breeds very
That's like
well.
more important than a blueberry bagel.
Sahil, write down the breed of that dog.
Yeah,
in the comments.
And while he's doing that, let's go to a couple of questions. One here's from Sven. Great to have you here, Rob. Where do you see the CX topic evolving in the market? What will be the main trend changes in the next 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, well, I mean, $1 million, $1 billion, multi-billion dollar question, right? That everyone's asking. I mean, I think that if you zoom out a bit on the macro picture, you're seeing some interesting things. One of them is that CFOs are putting a lot of pressure now on CX investments. They are saying, if you, CMO, head of sales, head of service, are going to want to make investments, I need to understand that you're thinking about the cost of operation as well as the results you want to get. And I need to know that you're really being prudent and conservative and focused in where your investment is. So we have that sort of element of, let's call it, I think the next 2 to 3 years are going to be hopefully still a positive spending environment, but let's just say more thoughtful maybe than some of the periods of the past. And then I also think you have all this exploding technology. You have, Meta, announcing a new deal with Microsoft. You have, all sorts of things happening around preparation for virtual realities or augmented realities or metaverse experiences. I think that there will be a certain segment of the population that'll participate in that, as is always the case. But until the cost of that kind of comes down, it's going to be accessible only to more of the privileged few, probably in the Silicon Valley. But I think the big issues are going to be things like, how do you connect your business to your customer in a time where you're changing your business model? So an example of this, every company's trying to figure out how they go to subscriptions, right? They all know that it's your business becomes more predictable. You have the ability to push out innovation on a much more rapid basis. You have more checkpoints with your customer than just the drop off the products and come by another time or wait for the product to go out of warranty. And I think being able to connect the business to the customer so that you can think about all elements of business transformation as part of that customer experience. That means, how do you configure an order for a customer to buy on a subscription basis? How do you run that through your whole enterprise billing, provisioning, support, entitlements. That's like one example. The shift from in non-software businesses from transactional to subscription models, that's going to be a big one. Another big one, because of all the supply chain disruption, I think, is going to be asset-based service. So if you think about today that certain companies stopped taking orders because their supply chain was constrained, I mean, that situation with better connection between CX and supply chain planning is avoidable, because you can run machine learning and AI models and predict what the purchasing patterns of your customers are going to be. And so you can buy in advance, and you can think about how to optimize your supply chain better based on things that are highly statistically predictable. That's another one. So we'll be showing one of these at CloudWorld about asset-based service, about how you go from preventative maintenance and predicting things from IoT sensors all the way through to making sure you have the right part and a successful outcome with the customer. So subscription models, asset-based flows, those are two of the big ones. And I also think more and more and this is more in B2B, getting marketing and sales to start talking the same language. It was funny in the beginning, you had Swahili up there. I was thinking it's a metaphor for what's happening in the front office, is that marketers talk about upper funnel stats and MQLs and impressions, and sales leaders want qualified conversation ready opportunities. Connect the dots and give me a technology platform that supports that kind of translation and the coordination between the teams. And so this doesn't sound as like futuristic as, some of the things about AR and VR and everything moving to the blockchain, and that I think those adoption cycles are going to happen, but slower because of the constrained economic environment we're in. We just don't have a lot of discretionary investment. And if a CMO goes to a CFO and says, I want to start investing in AR, VR, augmented reality, Meta, they're going to say, great. What are you going to optimize in your existing portfolio to allow us to free up that cash, to free up that spending? And so you got to start looking at these hard things to do both, which is performance and potential. Like, you got to perform better with what you have and then spend some discretionary money on the potential of the future. That's my sense.
Thomas actually had a piggyback off of that, and maybe I'll add a taste to that as well. Following up on Sven's question, which recession impact do you see? And really, how does these kind of uncertain economic conditions we're in, how does that change your approach to CX? And also, what are you hearing from your customers? How is it changing their thought pattern around what they need to do?
Yeah, I mean, I think, and we've said this in our earnings calls and Oracle is a strong, well-diversified company that customers depend on for mission-critical technology. So we think that market will continue. And we think because of our what our portfolio is and our footprint, we feel good about what we see in the market. But I see what everybody else sees, soaring inflation, constant struggles with companies being able to figure out where do they want to invest, the war, the economic factors, environmental everything that everyone else sees. So I don't think it would be realistic to feel that we're living in an environment of excess right now. I just don't think we are. As contrasted with, I would say, during the pandemic, and we saw this with a lot of companies that are, kind of struggling right now, is what else were you going to do if you're a marketer or salesperson sitting at home other than spend your technology budget? So spend the money. And by the way, oh my God, look how much I'm saving on T&E costs. Nobody's traveling. And so I can put that money towards, when people started traveling again, which is a good thing, and started being in front of customers, all of a sudden you couldn't use the T&E slush fund to fund your technology purchases. So you got to really start thinking about, how are you going to run your company efficiently and effectively? And that's what I see now. I don't think that was a realistic period of time to judge the kind of ongoing long-term robustness of technology. I think now it's going to be growth but more constrained growth is what I see. And so what are we doing specific on that? We are focusing on the things that we think have the biggest business impact. So things like business model, supporting a company through business model transformation so they can change the nature of their financial statements and how companies get valued. That's super important. Thinking about with all the pieces of equipment that are out there and assets, whether it's, charging stations or ATM machines or, anything, communications, 5G, all that equipment that's out there. How do you service and maintain it in an environment where you can't just expect the supply chain component to be available? So, better service models. And then on the marketing side, we're focused a lot on connecting marketing through leveraging our Unity CDP and all the AI models that we're going to be announcing much more to the business, like understanding how to get marketing to talk in the business's language around revenue and how you get to revenue and how you understand the triggers and the behavioral attributes that tell you somebody's ready to become part of your revenue engine. Those are the things we're focused on.
That's actually very interesting in a lot of ways. One that just occurred to me, given what you literally just said, is I don't know how much you remember, but about probably almost a decade ago, marketing all of a sudden got re-messaged. It wasn't really a rebranding as revenue performance management, which is actually, it was Eloqua and Marketo kind of drove that one. And honestly, it was a terrible name, but I used to call them up. I remember I used to call Joe Payne of Eloqua up and say, how's your fight against QuickBooks going? Right. So, but they were onto something, right? They were actually onto something. And the initial form it took was very much what you guys are doing with Fusion Sales and Marketing now, which is a more advanced version of it. But it was the alignment of sales and marketing. And there were companies like British BT that would build entire enterprise departments from scratch with that alignment in place. And the performance results were off the charts. Then it began evolving a little more to became kind of a little more of a technology play per se, meaning they got the idea, but then they had to build into processes that would make that actually work. Like, when sales decides to change marketing collateral from a general campaign, they got to get approvals from marketing. Right. And then at the same time, marketing has to give sales an avenue to get the collateral they need specifically for, say, a specific industry-based campaign. Consequently, what's interesting to me and where that just struck home was you're taking it to kind of I'll call it the next stage from what it sounds like. Again, I haven't seen this in practice, but you're taking this to the next stage because alignment of sales and marketing and the technologies for it, you and Salesforce are the two companies that have had that or have that most maturely, let's say. You're in the best, you have the best of the technology that I've managed to examine, which is a fair amount of them really on that specific topic, because it's a big topic with me. You and Salesforce have the two, I would say, begin to meet market needs, but you aligning marketing to the business model and actually the revenue model, really, that's another step, which I hadn't really been thinking about because I found revenue performance management so funny. I kind of dismissed it.
Right. We're not calling it revenue performance management.
Yeah, that was well, I still remember Marketo, when Sanjay Dolakia was the CMO, he called me up to run something by me about their re-messaging on marketing. I said, what are you going to call it? He said, we're going to remarket around engagement, because he knew that was an area I cared about. I said, does this mean you're not calling it revenue performance management? He said, yes. I said, then it's good. I don't care what else you call it. Right. So, but I actually not lost track of the revenue responsibility of marketing, but I've lost track of it in the way you just posed it. And that gets me thinking now. So,
well, it's interesting. We're gonna announce, Paul, at CloudWorld 15 different new industry machine learning models as part of our Unity CDP. And the reason why we're focused on these out-of-the-box models is because the more you can optimize your, we call it hyper segmentation, right? The more you can optimize your prospect base and your customer base around the revenue triggers and connect those with the way your salespeople educate customers and close deals, the better you'll do it. And we're doing this internally at Oracle. One of the things we're going to show you at the Analyst Summit is how Jason Maynard, who now runs this combined group of marketing and revenue operations. And so it's basically all the sales ops and revenue ops together with marketing. And we purposely structured it that way because we didn't want a CMO and a different person. We said, we're building software to create this model where an organization breaks down those silos and ties every marketing dollar spent to pipeline. And really, what did they get from that investment across email, advertising, push, SMS, whatever it is? And how does that factor into a model to use machine learning to create conversation-ready opportunities? You can skip a lot of steps. And I've talked to you about this, that are traditionally outsourced to very young, new employees like BDCs, where they're kind of trying to guess at whether something's ready for a salesperson to engage. Or you can use all the back office and the front office data that a company like Oracle has and build some really compelling models. Yep. And that's what we're doing internally. And we're working with customers now, and you'll hear from some of them next week.
Perfect.
Okay, let's go to another question here from Christy.
Go to the videotape.
Well, I'm not Warner Wolf, but I'll try do my best here. Christy Tupper says, does Oracle plan to go all the way down the IWMS path or just with asset management and workflows?
Okay, so first, I'm sorry, but what is IWMS?
I was going to just play it off like you guys knew what it was.
I have no clue.
I'm sure that's exposing some gap in my knowledge, but I don't
all exposed then. All right, well,
all three of us.
We'll let Christy fill us in on that one, and let's go to Sati R. Thanks for watching, Sati R.
Wow.
How good are the AI predictions? Are they producing tangible results beyond the buzz? Interesting question.
Yes, they are. And they're, in fact, in some of our customers' cases, and you'll hear some of them at CloudWorld, particularly good because we allow our customers with using our Unity CDP to build and configure their own industry schema. So for each industry, you can figure out the triggers. If you're in retail, it can be average order value or time since last purchase. If you're in financial service, it can be predictive indicators about credit worthiness. And because we have that flexibility in building those models, bringing your own models and building them, and we're offering some out of the box that can be guidance or accelerators, it's actually working quite well. So it's not buzz. ML is as good as your data set. And the fact that we have such a large data set to train these models on, we have every transaction in your company. If you're running Oracle ERP, we have everything that you've done around employee engagement. If you're running HCM, we have all your supply chain information. So we run the models against all this transactional and behavioral data. So they become very effective. And that's why I think we're going to, we think about CX, and Paul and Brent, you guys, we've always talked about this, is like Oracle is not just about the front office. It's our real historical strength is the back office. But when you start to unlock the insights from the back office into these kind of flows and use those models to streamline and suggest and prompt customers to certain actions, it can be very powerful. So it's working. It's working quite well.
Thanks for the question, Sati R. All right. So Christy says, integrated, is that workplace? I'm guessing integrated workplace management system, asset and facilities and lab management and maintenance, sustainability, capital projects, real estate, and lease vendor management. That's a lot. Wow.
Yeah, well, I would say, so there are parts of that we're doing. I don't know, certainly in the CX world, we don't call it IWMS, but in our supply chain business, we're doing a lot. And especially now, since we're looking at healthcare quite a bit and really trying to revolutionize a lot of the areas of healthcare, we are looking at lab and laboratory efficiency. So I imagine there's parts of that we're doing. We're looking at trying to streamline some of the touch points between retailers and patients, or rather, I should say, drug producers and patients, and taking some of the middlemen out of that where possible to make it more effective, cost efficient, and effective for customers to be able to get the healthcare they need. So I'm happy to follow up on that. I'm sure there's parts of it we're doing, just not something that's a big part of CX.
Hey, I got a question before we start asking you to fill us in on what's going to happen next week.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the Cerner acquisition. That was huge, $30 billion or thereabouts. What role does CX play, or how will CX be shaped by that acquisition?
Well, we are, as you know, Cerner's a big company, has a lot of initiatives right now. And Mike Cecilia, I know you've had him on. He's talking to, he's testifying in front of the Senate. He's doing a lot of things to help educate the world on the power of Oracle as applied to Cerner, what we're going to do to really write a lot of these capabilities and applications onto OCI and really leverage the Oracle stack, which I think is going to be amazing for the whole electronic medical record system, not just Cerner. And you'll hear a lot of this. I'm sort of going to bleed into my next question, which is you're going to hear a lot of this from Larry at his keynote. He's going to really talk a lot about healthcare and some other industries where we are not only building great stuff that helps companies perform better, but we're helping the world be better. And I think that was sort of, that's a big part of the, you talked about culture, Paul, at the beginning, a big part of the renaissance that many of us, led by Larry, are really on the trail of, is a company Oracle's size and scale. We have an obligation in some cases where we think we can solve problems by great engineering to go do it. And one of those we picked was healthcare. And so the whole company really lined up behind, required some changes and restructuring as we saw, but everybody lined up behind it because we know the benefit it's going to provide. So, we work with all the industries teams. And one of the things you're going to see a lot more is our CX industry flows really come front and center. We've done it for communications. We've done it for utilities. We're going to do it for healthcare and financial services and, CPG, many other industries. Wherever we have GBUs, global business units, we're going to bring that together with our CX suite rapidly. And that's going to be super powerful. So I don't want to spoil that, but you'll see a lot more of that.
Okay. So, Brent, I think Christy has a comment.
Oh, yeah. She liked the answer.
Yeah. Well,
which is good. And then, of course, Finn is plugging for Christie. So we'll just put that up there real quick.
You could do really well.
Yeah.
Rob.
Any referral you've brought me has worked out very well in the past. So I have no doubt.
Well, then I will tell you, Christie's a referral. Consider her a referral. She's fantastic. Awesome. She literally is fantastic.
I was going to say, before we let you go, we just want to make sure there's no dog-on-dog violence here. We appreciate Sahil's new Siberian Husky, and we definitely appreciate Patrick not playing any favorites, although we do kind of have one that you'll see at the end of the show. But we like both these dogs here. Just want to clear.
And I will tell you, just so that we can be, Rebecca, you don't have to raise the issue, or Sahil. That is literally like comparing, let's call it apples to chocolate ice cream. I mean, they're not really comparable foods. The Siberian Husky's a little baby. Okay. Patrick's not a little baby, right? Patrick's adorable. and this Siberian Husky baby is adorable, but they don't compare. Okay, other than that, they're dogs.
I was
Right
going to
beyond
say,
that,
which one is the apple and which one is the chocolate? Because
I'll leave that to whoever likes apples, whoever likes chocolate ice cream. Not chocolate, chocolate ice cream.
Or
chocolate
both
ice.
together. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just want to let everybody know both dogs are absolutely adorable, and it's not the diplomatic answer; it's just the truth, right?
Yeah.
So
One last thing I wanted to say is next week is going to be pretty interesting. Not only are we back in person after a several-year hiatus because of COVID, but I think the kind of keynotes you're going to hear are not going to be at all like what you used to hear at the old Open World.
okay.
When you used to go and see the new features that were built into the database, and there was
In detail.
awesome. You're going to hear about changing the world.
Wow.
And I think that is going to be really exciting, and I can't wait to see what Larry's going to say about that.
Well, either can I. I mean, it's a shame in a way. Brent and I can't really do a watch party, given we'll be there. So, and when we tried that at Dreamforce, it didn't go well. So, right. So I don't think we'll be trying again. But I am looking forward to, again, goes to the evolution of Oracle's culture too, even though the concern was always there. Let's say the concern made visible wasn't there that often. Now it's obviously it's coming forward, and one thing I will tell you, and I actually sticking another PPN plug, I did in episode 1 of Talking Headless, the podcast that I'm doing as an industry analyst. Segment 2 is about why Oracle won the watch list with distinction, and I brought out a lot of what Oracle did during COVID-19 to help, and that was, by the way, one of the reasons that they won that. You guys won that level. If you want the full details, it's about 20 minutes. Go listen to the podcast.
All right.
It's on Spotify. It's the usual.
You right next to Joe Rogan, or you?
Yeah. I'm fighting it for audience.
Wow. And on that Joe Rogan note, what an ending. Now, it's been a great conversation, Rob. Totally enjoyed this, and thanks for taking the time and answering the questions.
Yeah, we
I know the
appreciate
folks will definitely appreciate the answers, and you taking.
Yeah, thanks, guys, and look forward to seeing you next week. Thanks
Yeah,
again.
can't wait.
All right, it'll be fun.
So, on
Take
behalf
care.
of Rob Tarkoff, I'm Brent Leary,
I'm Paul Greenberg.
and here's our mini. We will see you next week live from Vegas. Vegas, baby. That's us.
I don't even have the heart to say that.